Hey y'all, my name is Ashley and today I'm going to be starting my eyeshadow declutter. Now this is going to include eyeshadow palettes, eyeshadow like glitter pots, individual shades. It's kind of a mixture of things, and then in this video specifically I will be going through some pretty old eyeshadow products and palettes. And when I say old, I'm talking like some of these are from like 2016. So if that sounds interesting to you, then keep on watching. All right, y'all, I really want to start this eyeshadow declutter off strong. So I am going to be starting with products that are much older and products that really aren't even available to purchase anymore. So hopefully this first set of products are ones that I'm willing to part with. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna start off with this one from KVD. This is actually from when the brand was Kat Von D, and this is the Metal to Matte palette. But it kind of says metal here, and then you flip it upside down, it does say matte. This is a really popular product to have back in, I wanna say this is like from 2016, 2015. And I'm actually going to be keeping this one just because it does have like a lot of memory to it for me. I don't know if I'm going to keep it with my current collection, but this is a palette that I don't really want to depart with, so I will be keeping it. This is Lunar Beauty's first palette. This is the original Life is a Drag palette, and I do have the new one. So because I have the newer one, I am going to declutter this one because the quality in this one is absolute garbage compared to the new one. I also just don't see the point in keeping this palette because it doesn't hold that great memories for me. But also, I'm not a Manny MUA fan, so I'm decluttering this. This is from Tarte. And when I bought this palette, I got it because I absolutely love the packaging. But this is the High Tides and Good Vibes palette. And I don't know why, but like I want to be able to part with this, but like the glitters are awful in here. Like these are so scratchy, but they are actually still really pretty. So these I would not use on my eyes. Oh God, that is awful. That is awful right there. I don't know, like am I keeping it just because it's pretty? I mean, I'm not even a big Tarte fan, but I really like this palette because it's just so pretty to look at. I'm gonna add this to my maybe bin that I've started since I started my declutter. That will probably be its own video because of how many products I put in this maybe bin. Ooh, I actually want to swatch this blue right here. Deep blue. God, that's awful. Why am I keeping this? I'm decluttering it. What am I doing? Declutter. So I have two Jeffree Star palettes right here. This one is the Mini Orgy palette. I don't even know if this one's still available, but I do like the selection of shimmers in here, and the quality is really nice. So that's one thing, even though I don't like Jeffree Star, the quality, at least it's there. Okay, that one didn't swatch so well. But these shimmers, like these metallics, they're really pretty. I think this palette is definitely worth keeping. So I'm going to tentatively keep this because if I do find a palette in my collection that has the same kind of shimmers in it, then I will delete this. I will declutter it. So this is the Bloodlust palette. This is actually one I haven't used because my kids tore up my other one, and then I got this one in a mystery box and I still haven't used it. But I do like how pretty this palette is. I like the shimmers right here. And I do like this darker blue-green and the pretty purples in here. So I am going to keep this one from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, even though it is a bitch to store. This is the Conspiracy palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics in the collaboration with Shane Dawson. This is one of those palettes I bought just to buy back when I was just collecting makeup to collect makeup. But I'm going to be decluttering this because this is an awful color story. Honestly, the only shade in here that I like is like this chartreusey green, which I know for a fact I have in a Milk Cosmetics palette. So I'm decluttering this. Now, the Jawbreaker is actually one of my favorite palettes that I own from Jeffree Star Cosmetics just because it's so colorful and there's just so much I can do with this palette. And I also have the Mini Breaker. And the thing is, even though they're similar shades, like this is the same shade, these two are the same shade, this beautiful shimmer orange is not in this palette, which is disappointing because I would declutter this if that wasn't in here. But I am going to go ahead and keep both the Jawbreaker and the mini Jawbreaker. Oh, and a lot of people will say there's been like short form content and videos of their palettes going moldy. Here's this up close shot of my palette. I've had this since Jawbreaker came out, and as you can tell, there is nothing wrong with any of the shades in my palette. I do store my makeup not near a bathroom, like a bathroom I shower in. I also clean my makeup brushes frequently. And the last palette in this little selection is the Thirsty palette. I don't know why this was so popular. Like, okay, now I remember why. Oh yeah. Okay, I changed my mind. I am gonna keep this. Originally I was like, why is it popular? But these shimmers in here are really nice. God, these are better than the Orgy ones. I might keep this and put the Orgy in my declutter. Yeah, this I'm gonna go ahead and put in my maybe pile. Because these palettes are so chunky, I can only fit a few on screen at a time, which is disappointing. But I'm gonna start off with the Blood Sugar palette. Now, obviously, I half-assed bedazzled this and never finished and came back to the project. My goodness, this used to be such a hot item. I used to use this shade up here for my brows when I was a redhead. I'm looking at this palette now though, and everything looks dusty. Like the quality is not the same. God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I will be decluttering it. The Blue Blood palette. This is also one of those palettes where this is my second one because I dropped my first one and it shattered in my driveway. And I guess apparently I didn't need this because I haven't really reached for it. Now, I do, actually let me pull this out. So in the old one, I did pull shades out of it and put it in this magnet palette because when my hair was blue, I used to use shades from the Blue Blood palette to do my eyebrows. The same for purple. This is originally from the first Bloodlust palette I have. Now these, I actually am going to declutter all the shades in this magnet palette, and I'm just going to get rid of this magnet palette. But in here, I like these blues. They are very pretty. Let me see how this blue. That is a pretty blue. See, there's like certain shades in here that make me really want to keep these palettes. And because of that feeling, I'm going to keep them. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the Blue Blood. Cremated. Now I like this palette because I like cool tone looks, and this is a great base palette to have if you enjoy cool tone looks. Mine's I kind of need to clean this up. It's a little dirty, but I am going to go ahead and keep this palette. I really just wish his face was not on it because this is off-putting. The Alien palette. This is apparently a hot commodity still to own, and you know what? I'm getting rid of mine. It's just not that great of a color story. I think what people were really drawn to with this palette is the fact that it was shaped like an alien head, and that's why people love it. Let me see. Yeah, the shade that I'm drawn to in here is the shade Pluto, but it's very close to the green that's in the Blood Money palette, and I have that palette, which I'll pull down to show you, but I will be keeping it because that is the palette that I use to do my eyebrows currently, so I won't declutter something that works and that I use every single day. I believe these are the last of my Jeffree Star Cosmetics palettes. So this is the Orgy palette, which is another one of those things. I hate the artwork on the front, but I do like what's inside. So this is a great neutral palette to own, and because I already own it and I've already paid for it, I will be keeping it because it's something that you never know you might need. So I'm keeping this one. And then, like I mentioned earlier, this is the Blood Money palette. I will be keeping this one because, as you can tell, especially right here, this is the palette that I use to do my eyebrows. This stays at my vanity, and so I will be keeping this one. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly show you these. I'm sure you can tell what these are by the components. These are the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Extreme Frosts. They came in these bougie jewelry-like boxes, but these are really high shine highlighters that have like this translucent base, but the glitter inside kind of reflects the color that it's called. So this one, whoop, that would have been really bad. So this one is the shade Gag Me, which this one has like blue reflex in it. Let me find a spot on my arm to swatch. But it has like this translucent base with blue glitters inside of it. And I love these for eye toppers. I really find that these Extreme Frost powders are fantastic. The formula is really nice and I like them to elevate my looks. So I'm actually going to be keeping all of these. But like I said, this one is Gag Me, which has the blue reflect. This one right here is Sour Ice, which has the green reflect. So this one right here is Choking on Ice, and the packaging is a little different because this had come in the Bloodless collection. This has like this beautiful purple shift. I did try to clean my hands off the best I could. There's still glitter all over my arms, but isn't that beautiful? This one is in the shade Cold Hard Cash. So this one's actually got like a gold base to it with some green reflect. And this one's from the Blood Money collection, which, to be honest, out of everything that Jeffree Star Cosmetics has released, that was probably my favorite collection because my love for the color green. Now, I don't want anyone to confuse me keeping these products as a love for Jeffree Star. That's not the case. I really do love the formula of these, and I paid so much money for these. These were 50 bucks each, y'all, and I'm not gonna declutter something that cost me so much money that I still enjoy using. So this one right here is the shade Lick My Glit, which has the pink reflex in it. Now, unfortunately, I believe quite a few of these are discontinued. And then this last one is the shade Stripper Money, which this one has like a champagne gold base to it with some green and gold reflect. And I'm keeping that, obviously. So the reason I showed these with the eye products is because that's what I use them for, and they'll be put away with my eye products. So here is, I feel like I should stick with the theme of influencers. So here are some Lunar Beauty palettes along with Tati Beauty. I'm gonna start off with the Tati Beauty palette because I'm pretty sure you can tell I will not get rid of this. If you own this, don't get rid of this. But I'm sure everyone's seen that there is like this rumor going around that Tati might be bringing her beauty brand back. I really hope so because I enjoy this palette quite a bit. I also love the layout and the theme behind this palette, where this first row is mattes. This is what she called a sequin formula, where it had mattes with glitter in them, a metallic formula, and then a glitter. So 5 of the same shades in 4 different formulas, and I love it. I will be keeping this, and I'm fingers crossed that she's coming out with more palettes. Now this is from Lunar Beauty. This is the Strawberry Dream palette. This color story is absolutely gorgeous. I believe this is one of those palettes that are discontinued. I will be keeping this. So there was like a while last year where I was like, fuck all these influencer brands. And the thing is because I was just tired of seeing problematic people get rewarded. Now, I'm not saying Manny MUA isn't problematic, but I have now kind of changed my opinion. All right, my camera cut me off, but I don't see myself buying anything from Lunar Beauty, but I'm not gonna stop using what I have. But I mean, there was a time where I was like not wanting to use the products at all. I'm going to keep this because I like this. So now here are some of my Lunar Beauty products. Now, there was a while where I was also like not into using anything Manny MUA because of his friendship with James Charles and some of his problematic behavior. I'm no longer at that point because if he does come out with a launch that does interest me, I might buy it. I don't know. I know the mermaid launch that he came out with around Christmas time. Now, I don't regret not getting it, but it is a beautiful palette, and it is on my list of possibility of future purchases. Unlike Jeffree Star products, there is no product on my future purchases. I don't want it. I'm only keeping what I have because I've already purchased it. This palette has a gorgeous color story, so I will be keeping this. But like I said earlier, I'm not a Manny MUA fan, so I don't feel the need, I don't feel the need to own all of the products. So this is, I used to be, that's why I have so many of them. So this is the Life's a Drug Facelift palette. Now, you saw earlier, I did declutter my old one, but I will be keeping this one. I like this palette. It's very useful, so I will be keeping this. This is the Greek Goddess palette from Lunar Beauty. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous, but the inside is disappointing. So I will be decluttering this palette. This is the Eternal Eclipse palette. I love how moody this palette is. If you look, these palettes are very similar. This is a palette that is similar to this one, like an upgraded version of the Greek Goddess palette. And I love how moody this color story is, so I will be keeping this. Now this is the Nude Prism palette. This is a very neutral palette from Lunar Beauty, but the quality is absolutely fantastic, so I will be keeping it. These are the last two palettes I have from Lunar Beauty. These are the Moonspell palettes. So this is Moonspell Volume 1. This one, you can see the progression for Lunar Beauty palettes. This one is a gorgeous palette, and I do not plan on decluttering it, but look how gorgeous this one is. The formula in this one, in Volume 2, is way better than the formula in Volume 1. I am going to keep both of them, even though there is similar shades. You can definitely tell. There's purples in this one, there's purples in this one. So I quickly went through my collection and grabbed the rest of my makeup that would be considered influencer brands. I don't know if Trixie Cosmetics is considered an influencer brand, but I feel like it fits in this category. This is the Plant Gay palette, and this has some beautiful greens in here, which you can tell it's why I bought it. Like, I love a good green palette and shadow. Like, look how beautiful this shade is right here. This topper is gorgeous as well. That's the shade I Missed You, and this is the shade Totally. I love the color story of this palette, so I will be keeping this one from Trixie Cosmetics. This is also the only Trixie Cosmetics eyeshadow palette I own. This is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Strawberry Feels palette. I like pink shadows, and I like the theme of this strawberry palette. I actually did a first impressions on this palette and collection when it first came out, but I'm actually going to keep it because I do like the quality of shadows that was in the Jaclyn Cosmetics palette. All right, so here is, this is more of like an indie makeup brand, but this is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics collection I have. I also have Dollhouse, and I do have the Quad to Lure, but I can't really fit it on the screen. So this is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Surge palette. I believe this is the only one that's been discontinued. No, I lied. I believe there's two palettes that have been discontinued. So I love this palette. It's so disappointing. This is a palette that you can no longer purchase. I like how it has grungy shades in here along with some neons. I'm obviously not going to declutter this. I don't think I'm going to be decluttering any of my Blend Bunny Cosmetics palettes, to be quite honest. So this is Lure, and this one has a very mermaid siren theme to it, and I will be keeping this because this does scream mermaid looks, but this is a really pretty palette for the summer. I also really enjoy like the shimmer shades in here. This one's a duochrome. So the shade Pearl, and then this is the shade Folklore. But these are, the formula of Blend Bunny Cosmetics is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to swatch this one too. This one's bioluminescent. I don't know what it is lately. I'm obsessed with blues. This is another palette that I believe is discontinued by Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and this is Primal. So this is probably my least favorite palette from Blend Bunny, just because it is similar to the original, but again, these shimmers are gorgeous. This is the shade Pheromone, this purple. But the quality of Blend Bunny Cosmetics is the same in every palette. It's fantastic. This is the shade Feral, by the way. Now this is the Blends palette. This is the first palette in like the original, and these are all mattes, but it is like the perfect rainbow palette. Honestly, this is making me question, do I need to keep those Jeffree Star palettes? Because these shades they're in these palettes. I might have to sit down and compare them and then let you know later if I declutter the Jeffree Star ones. Now, I don't have every Blend Buddy Cosmetics palette. There is a couple that I haven't gotten, and for sure there is one on my wish list. But this is the last big one I have, and this is the Dollhouse. This is your perfect date night palette, to be honest. I like this one a lot as well. This one was just at my vanity. This is the shade Pretend. See, I can't help but swatch these. When I open these Blend Buddy Cosmetic palettes, it just makes me want to swatch them. This purple is pretty too. This is the shade Imaginary. I want to swatch a matte. Ooh. I'm going to swatch Cinch, this deep, deep purple. Like, these shades are gorgeous and the quality is amazing. I think the palette that's on my wish list is like the grungy theme one. Not Sickly Sweet, because the layout, my OCD can't handle it, but there's like a grungy palette that's on my wish list from Blend Bunny. This is the Trove Quad. This is the duochromes that they came out with Lure. This little quad was quite a pretty punny, but a pretty punny it was worth. So this is the shade Mermaid Tears. I don't know how it's shifting on camera, but it is absolutely beautiful. Like, I can see the teal in the viewfinder, but to me it's purple right now. And then the shade Cove, this gorgeous green. I love greens. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but it's just amazing quality. All right, so here are a bunch of my glitters. So I have ColourPop Glitterly Obsessed. I have 5 melt ones, 2 from Wet n Wild, and a couple glitter palettes right here. So I'm gonna go through my Glitterly Obsessed. I'm gonna probably keep most of these just because I don't have that many, and I do like to use these to elevate looks for like music festivals and other fun stuff. So I did swatch some of the ones I'm keeping. So here are the 2 I have from the Hocus Pocus collaboration. This one right here is this shade Swatch. This is Amok, 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 and I'll be keeping it, along with another Glorious Morning, which is swatched right here. This one's a orange and gold glitter. Then I have the Nightmare Before Christmas one. This is in the shade Master of Fright, and that is going to be the shade right here where it's kind of like this iridescent purple. Then I have 2 from Sailor Moon. This is the Moonlight Legend, which is going to be this pink one right here. This is the shade Moon Prism Power, and this is going to be this purple one right here where it has the moon and the stars. This is the collaboration with Animal Crossing in the shade Billionaire, and that is going to be this gold right here. I do have another gold that looks pretty similar, and this is from the Frozen collection. This is the one for Anna in the shade Waterfall. Then I have the shade Dark Sea, so this iridescent shade right here. And the last one I swatched is actually the New York Knicks one. Now, I am not at all a basketball fan. By the way, it's this swatch right here, this really pretty orange. But I like to do my makeup for the Astros, and I like to go to Astros games. I'm a big baseball fan, live in Houston, Astros are my team. Okay, we get it. So I bought this glitter gel to do Astros looks because it is an orange gel with some blue bits in here, and Astros are also orange and blue. So I'm keeping this one. This is in the shade Homecoming. This is like a yellow. I have all these pretty golds. I don't need this yellow, so I'm gonna declutter this one. I have these cute tiny mini ones that I'm actually gonna go ahead and keep, but I did not swatch these. So I have a blue iridescent one and a gold one right here, and these tiny Glitterly Obsessed ones. And then this trio right here is from like the Smoke Show collection. So I have one that's got rose gold glitter in it in the shade Starfire. It's just a white iridescent one in the shade Disco Lady. And then I also have Trippin' on Skies, which is just a gold iridescent one. So I have these 2 glitter gels from Wet n Wild from the Care Bear collection. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter these from my collection, but I'm gonna give them to my daughter so she can have a hell of a time with some glitter gels. But there's a purple one with heart glitter in here called Stand Out and Shine. And then this one is just an iridescent glitter in Free to Shine. Now I have 5 melt ones. These two are from the Bailey Sarian collection. So I have the shade Boom Slang and the shade Wisteria. So this chartreusey green one along with this purple one. I still want to figure out how to use these and get these to work for me, so I'm going to be keeping these. I'm also going to be keeping these 3. This is from the Mary Jane collection. So I got a rose gold, a gray one, like a gray metallic silver one, along with just a silver glitter. So I'm going to keep these. Then I have these 3 glitter palettes. Now this one is from the brand Sincerely Dear Katie Brown. I don't know if this exists anymore, but this has some really pretty pressed glitters in here. And honestly, even though I don't reach for something like this often, it's always nice to have something like this in my collection. So I will be keeping it, but I'll swatch a couple. So I'm swatching the shade Eliza, which is this really pretty bubblegum pink. Oh, that is really pretty. And then I'm gonna swatch the shade Blur, which is a purple and pink pastel glitter. See, these are really pretty. And I think I'm also gonna swatch Note to Self, because this one's got like some nice pretty greens in there. I'm definitely gonna have to look and see if this brand still exists, because these are absolutely gorgeous. All right, so I know for a fact that this brand no longer exists, but this is the Texas House of Glitters. And honestly, why I purchased this palette, because I live in the state of Texas. These glitters were all named after, I don't have it anymore, but they were all named after different cities. Now, obviously this looks very messy, but I'm still gonna swatch them. I think these are still in good condition. Honestly, this is not in the best condition. So I'm actually gonna be decluttering this palette right here. These are like super, like, they're dusty. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this palette, even though it is really, really pretty. And then the last glitter palette I have is from Profusion, and this is the Break of Dawn 9 shade glitter palette. This is actually something that my husband got me when he went to H-E-B one time, but this is like a Halloween themed glitter palette. Now that is a beautiful green. That is in the shade Trickster. Look at that. And then let's swatch the shade Triggered. I do like a good red glitter. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one from Profusion, just because it's swatching really nicely, and I'm getting rid of that Texas House of Glitters ones. And even though this is not something I'd reach for often, it's nice to have this in my collection. If I declutter these glitters, I'm gonna be looking for one day when I'm doing a makeup look, and then I don't have the product anymore. So it takes very little space up in my drawers, so I'm gonna be keeping it. All right, I think these are gonna be the last products I'm gonna go through for this video, and these are my Jelly Much shadows from ColourPop Cosmetics. Now, these do dry up, but what's really great is you can use a little bit of contact solution and it rehydrates them, or you can use water, that works as well. So I have 3 from the Hocus Pocus 2 collection. I don't know, they came out with 3 different collections for Hocus Pocus. So this was one of those collections. So this one is actually for the second movie, and this is in the shade Come to Play. And this is a beautiful, beautiful purple. I love these so much. As you can tell, this one is dried up, but when I'm ready to use it again, I will just add a few drops of contact solution, mix it all together, and it's good as new. This one is in shade Shishka Baby. And it is this really pretty burnt orange, perfect for spooky season. This is a really pretty white with green iridescent bits in it. And this is in the shade I Am Calm. And this one's gotten a lot of use out of it. It is dried up like the other 2, but I'm going to be keeping this too. Now these 2 are from the Star Wars collection. So I have the shade in Protocol, which is, but it's a white iridescent with gold in it. So I'm keeping this one as well. And then this is in the shade Astromech, which this one's in a really pretty soft blue to almost lavender shade. And I'll be keeping this one as well. I think these were based off of, like, one's based off of R2-D2 and the other one's based off of C3PO. And then the last three I have are from the Nightmare Before Christmas collection. So this, oh, okay, so these are actually in glass components. But this first one is Beryl. And this is like almost an oil slick duochrome shade. So it's kind of like orange to green. This is Shock, and this one's a beautiful hot pink. And this last one is the shade Lock, which is a really pretty black with blue and purple glitters. I'm gonna be keeping that as well. So I don't have that many of these Jelly Munch shadows, but I do really like them. So go ahead and let me know what you think of the products I decluttered and the ones I kept in the comment section below. And until next time, bye y'all.